From the hot air balloon capital of the world, this is live coverage of the 2025 ExxonMobil Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. It's Balloon Fiesta Live. And now, direct from the rooftop studio at Balloon Fiesta Park in Albuquerque, New Mexico, here are your hosts, Art Lloyd Jr. and Ted Mays.
Well, hello, world. Here we are again. It is day 1, 2, 3, 4 at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, the ExxonMobil Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Another day of competition on board. Of course, we're getting started with our Dawn Patrol folks as well. So welcome. Art Lloyd Jr. here along with my partner in crime. I'm going to say it that way this morning. Ted Mays. Good morning, Ted.
I've been causing trouble since dark 30 today.
Yep,
yes, apparently I have.
You have.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, so already got a lot of you online, and of course we've been teasing it for 4 or 5 days that today is the day that we are going to release the 2026 theme, which of course is highlighted by the idea of having a new bumper sticker. Now 2025, Painted Horizons, you've seen that on our website, you've seen it on our bumper stickers, you've seen it on our jackets, all kinds of places. Well, for 2026, the theme is, drum roll, the scenic route. Yeah.
I like it. Road 66. It is a scenic route.
So we have also been talking about, last night we had the glow in the village with our globitos. And so we set those up because that kicks off the centennial celebration of Route 66, which of course comes right through New Mexico and Albuquerque as well. So we're going to continue to celebrate that. There's already a hot air balloon with the centennial factions on it. And so we're going to help celebrate that. And so next year, the 2026, is a scenic route. That's the theme for Balloon Fiesta.
Wouldn't it have been cool if Sid had actually started the Balloon Fiesta 12 years earlier and we'd be 66 on 66?
That would have been, yeah. Hey, now, the other thing is, because we did that glow in the village last night with the globitos, and so all of the stuff, and we took, I think we were supposed to take 66 globitos there, so 66 globitos on 66. We have commemorated that activity by creating a brand new balloon pin, and guess what? As of 3 minutes ago, it was live on balloonfiestastuff.com. So, and there's only 250 of the pins.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So if you wanted to pick up a pin, and we've got a little shot of it here, the artwork. I didn't actually have the pin in my pocket to take a picture, but we have these great new pins.
So wait a minute. There were the 249 pins. If you have one in your pocket.
No, I didn't. I didn't have one in my pocket. That's why you have the artwork. There it is.
Okay.
66 on old 66. That's what the new balloon globito 66 pin looks like.
Very nice.
So go on to balloonfiestastuff.com. Search for 66. The pin should come right up. You can only buy 2. There is a limit of 2. Don't even go there and just delay your exit route. And you can use the QR code to get to balloonfiestastuff.com. The BF Live code does not work on the pin. That only works on sportswear.
No, but while you're there, you can pick up a hat to put your pen on, or a hoodie, or a T-shirt.
Insider tip: put the pin in your cart and check out.
Okay.
Then go back and use the code for your other merchandise, because even while it's in your cart, it's not like some of the ticket thing where you've got 3 minutes to get it. No. It keeps taking
until it
them
processes. It's not done. Okay,
that's right.
Good.
Yep, it does not reserve it for you.
So some inside intel there from
you bet.
Art Lloyd Jr.
The
nice.
guy, yeah. So I'm going to keep checking. I'm going to check back here in a minute and see if I can kind of track how many are there. So, new pins, new themes, new bumper stickers, and if you're out here on the field, we also have new schedules. So the tentative schedule is already out for next year as well. So,
and we have a new day of competition, a beautiful day. It looks like it's.
We have a lot of stuff to do yet this week.
Yeah.
So
there's our Dawn Patrol.
I've been hearing them cold packed, and then they said it's time to go hot, so they're going to coordinate their hot inflation and stand their balloons up all together. So we have one of our on-field cameras right there behind the basket with the burner going off. And I see them all standing up nicely together.
And hopefully tomorrow, if everything works out, we will actually have one of our cameras in with Dawn Patrol with pilot Tim Taylor. So we hope to bring that to you live tomorrow morning. But for now, we'll see the Dawn Patrol getting ready to go. And it's going to be a little bit like Sunday morning. There's not a lot going on while looking at the weather.
Yes, because you've been looking at the pieball reports, and which is the wind reports, pilot, balloon. We send up a little party balloon. Actually, these guys are sending up a little bit bigger weather balloons.
A little larger.
Yeah, a little larger, more because they are the meteorologists. Us pilots just send up the little balloons and kind of watch and say, oh, it goes there, it goes there. These guys actually put theodolites, right, on there to track them so that they know. So exactly, oh, it's now at this altitude and it's going this direction at this speed. So
there's Matthew Crody.
Yeah.
X-rated gesture.
Chick-fil-A. Kids Day is Friday, brought to us by Chick-fil-A. Lots of great free stuff for kids getting here at the field. Get here early because they'll start handing that stuff out by the Main Street stage about 4:30. Again, that's on Friday with Kids Day.
I'm not sure who's doing Chick-fil-A today. It could be Steve Coughing out of Albuquerque since Shalina flew yesterday, but you never know.
Unless they tell us or we're close enough to see whose hand is on the burner.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit because we were talking about that yesterday after competition.
Sure.
And, what most people don't realize is, what we're producing here is along the same lines as a regional sports broadcast. So there's a little difference, though. In a regional sports broadcast, you have a basketball game, let's say, there's 10 guys out on the court, and we know who those 10 people are at all times. And
even the subs.
Yeah, we know the substitutions. If someone gets injured, and even in football, you have 22 guys out on the field. You know all about that. With ballooning, it's a little bit different. We have 550 participants, and when they start to fly in on competition, we don't know where Mother Nature's going to take them, and we only have one identifier. Well, we have two identifiers. We have the balloon and we have the banner.
Right.
Makes it a little bit more difficult. So it's sometimes if we're doing competition and there's a little silence there, we're letting you kind of enjoy the same moment we are, but we're also trying to find out who that is. And even though we know many of these pilots, I know a lot of them, I know that Art knows a ton of them, when it gets down and dirty down there and then these guys are coming in, and yesterday was a little quicker than normal, but there are some days, and I remember flying in some days where you have 20, 30 of your best friends right next to you, and it's really difficult to pull them out. So we're doing the best we can.
Well, and let me complicate that picture a little bit because, yes, we have 550 primary pilots here. Many of them bring more than one balloon. And so there's really like 650 different balloons out here. And then, like we were just talking about, is that Steve? Is that Selena? Who's flying? Well, because there could be multiple pilots on the balloon.
You could have, I've seen several on here where you have a primary and two secondary pilots.
Right. So we actually have to look at the balloon or who's flying the balloon to be able to pick this out. Yesterday, here comes two identical balloons in. I knew that they were being flown by the Hartzels, but I didn't know whether it was Joe or Rhett or Lucas flying them until they got close enough. And then I said, well, that's not Joe. And you picked it up that it was Rhett.
Right.
And then the next one came in, and I said, that is Joe, because Joe always flies with a ball cap. So those are the little subtleties that we have to use to be able to do this. And in football and basketball, they have their plays. They go up and down the same court or field. We've got these guys coming in,
and you can pretty much see their numbers or names all the time on their jerseys as they're playing,
right?
Participating.
So a lot of help there. So
and to complicate things even more, sometimes we have pilots sell their balloons and not tell us they've sold their balloons. So then we're calling out someone who's not really that pilot, and boy, we hear it.
Well. Let me go ahead and tell the story. Last year, because you actually mentioned it yesterday, right?
Yep.
So we were calling out this balloon called Dixie, and we knew that it belonged to Elisa Talbert. And so we're saying, oh, here comes Elisa, and Dixie. After the show, Zach Maxwell comes up and he says, guys, I bought that balloon, and that was me flying it. Oh, okay. Well, for the rest of the week, we knew that Zach was flying that. Well, the other balloon, there's this, and I talked about it a lot yesterday because I've actually flown it with one of the previous owners, is the racer balloon with the chili peppers around the center. And so it had always been called Hot Stuff. So I'm saying, oh, there's Hot Stuff. And I knew that Jody Browning had owned that balloon recently. So we're saying, we think that's Jody, blah, 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 et cetera. And then the next thing you know, I get an email last night from none other than Elisa Talbert, who says, oh, I bought that balloon from Jody. No. So the same pilot stuff that went on. And she says it's Chillin' Pepper now is the name of it. Although since she bought it, she's thinking of changing it back to Hot Stuff. So it'll just be, I'm just gonna keep calling it Hot Stuff when I see it.
There you go.
But now I know it's not Jody, it's Lisa flying it.
All right.
And thanks to Lisa for letting us know.
Yes, thanks for letting us know.
And being positive about it.
Absolutely.
Which also means they're all going back and watching the show afterwards. In fact, I talked with Pat Irwin yesterday. He's going to fly our balloon camera today. I talked with him after the show, and he says, yeah, we went back and watched to see his pass in. So, yeah, a lot of folks watching this back in the replay, and we certainly appreciate that. All of our shows get archived and are available right after the live show for you to be able to go back and watch. And this is year number 9 for Balloon Fiesta Live.
Coming up on a decade.
We are. And I'm figuring that we're going to be really close to 400 hours of live video, uninterrupted. That's the other thing. You watch a 3-hour sporting event. How much of it is really commercials? No commercials here. We may pitch something, but yeah. Oh, Mike is asking if we're going to announce the winners of the license plate. I guess I should do that.
Yes, you should. I promised them at the end of the show yesterday, we make sure that we got yesterday's done today.
So, thanks for reminding us, Mike. The winners of the Balloon Fiesta license plate for Monday would be Jim Rosing from Anderson, Indiana, Emily Pauley from Ashland, Ohio, and Stephanie DeCamp from Saint-Jean-sur-Loire in Quebec, Canada.
Oh, congratulations to our Canadian friends and our American friends down south.
Absolutely. So, what else do we give away?
A jacket.
A jacket. So, Monday's jacket winner is Curtis Smith from Vidalia, Louisiana.
All right, Curtis.
Yeah.
Wear this loud and proud down on the bayou once you receive it.
So the idea is that we're giving away 1 jacket a day. We're giving away 3 license plates per session. So it'll have the Balloon Fiesta Live logo on it. We won't put Ted's name on it. In fact, we won't even put your name on it. On the other side, it's got the ExxonMobil Albuquerque National Balloon Fiesta logo. And on the back, it has got the Special Shapes Rodeo logo on it. This is the same jacket that we're wearing on Balloon Fiesta Live, and it's also the same jacket that we give to all of our Special Shape pilots. So it's a very coveted jacket. You can win that and or the license plate by scanning the QR code that's on the screen right now and put in your name and the other information we're looking for, and then you'll be entered to win. Please only enter one time. Once you're in until I take you out because you're a winner. So
here we go.
Here we go. We'll 3 license plates per session, 1 jacket per session. The way things are going, I may have to announce the winners the next day, but we'll get them all caught up. So, and then I'll be contacting all the winners after Balloon Fiesta is over to confirm address and what we're shipping you, sizes if you want a jacket, all that kind of stuff. So, great stuff happening here on Balloon Fiesta Live.
Looks like we're only moments away from Dawn Patrol trying to show the way to all these pilots as they head to pilot briefing that's already gotten underway, and we should be able to get to weather here in a minute, I hope, so we can get the official word of what the weather looks like. There's another shot of the moon, Art.
Oh, yeah. You almost can't tell that we're so zoomed in. It's like, what is that?
Setting majestically on the West Mesa in Albuquerque. Yeah. Look at that. That's fantastic.
I'm going to check on the people are telling me they're buying the pins, so I'm going to go check and see what the.
All right. Ashley Sanchez, good morning to you in Texas. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning from Mexico we have on here. Good morning, Ted and Art.
One of our license plate winners is thanking us for pulling their name.
We have Hope watching in Indianola, Iowa. So good morning to you, Hope. And Mott Thomas from Lake City, South Carolina. So thanks for watching. There they are taking off. Now I know for a fact that that's Matthew Grody, an X-rated jester, and I know for a fact that that's Ron Thornton flying Peanuts Forever in front of him, and I know for a fact that that's Tim Taylor. So we're good. I'm 3 for 3 right there.
Well, there you So that's the other thing that I find, because we do have the app that helps us identify these folks. This is kind of like the basketball game. We've got our 12 or so pilots out here. We know who they are. Kind of the only variable is who's flying Chick-fil-A.
Correct.
That's the only really variable there. So we see these guys every day, same time. So we know them just as you know them, and can make sure that we get that announced correctly. So we haven't sold out of those pins yet, but they are definitely going quickly. So. Good morning, Rio Rancho, and good morning, Corrales. Also, Charlotte, North Carolina, Alberta, Canada, Rochester, New York. From the UK, Ty loves our live streams. Thanks, Ty. We love doing them. Yeah. Good morning from Kansas, Wausau, Wisconsin, New Mexico, of course, Santa Fe. Let's see. Yeah. Someone was asking because you know, when you place an order on Balloon Fiesta stuff, we send you a free bumper sticker with it. Oh, before we get to that, we've hit the weather section of Pilot's Briefing, so let's make the switch.
Side of the Sandias, and this is causing some weather. Satellite photos show this really well. Out on the eastern plains, we've got upslope clouds. And for those of you that are from this area, you're probably familiar with what's called the gap winds, or the winds that come with these cold fronts through the I-90, I-40 canyon and bring gusty winds into the Albuquerque area, and then can certainly cause weather forecasts to be highly variable. That cold front is basically backed up against the mountains and now has become a stationary boundary. We've got a trough coming through the valley here right now with the cold front up around Santa Fe. That's also basically stalled out a little bit. So we have a very dynamic situation going on. We have this cold front backed up against the mountains. We have canyon winds, and you can probably feel it in the air. There's more moisture. Humidities have gone up significantly. When you add more moisture to the air, it's like adding fuel to the fire. It just makes more weather potentially later on. So what we have are two opposing forces today. We have our drainage wind conditions that we normally get coming down the river valley. As you notice from Dawn Patrol, at the moment, the other opposing force, which is that yellow arrow, which are the canyon winds, are coming in from the east. So we have two different vectors, one coming from the north, one coming from the east-southeast, and they're gonna battle it out today. So while Dawn Patrol has gone to the north, by the time we get set up, your wind direction may come in from the north, it may go the other way. There's gonna be a tug of war between these two opposing forces, and these opposing forces are coming right into here. Typically what'll happen in this situation is Fiesta Field in this part of Albuquerque will miss the canyon winds. They'll be more down towards town, and that's really represented very well this morning in the current observations. Sunport, Albuquerque International Airport, east at 20, gusting to 29. Okay? While Double Eagle, winds are north at 6. Okay? So, hence the career decision choice. All right, but when you have opposing wind directions like this, they will tend to cancel each other out, at least for a while. And so for those of you who have looked at your terminal aerial forecast for this morning, you probably saw, your eyes probably got wide open. When you look at the TAF for Albuquerque, winds east at 20, gusting to 30 knots. While Double Eagle's TAF is winds north-northeast at 7. So what we have to be very careful with today are these two opposing forces, and will one win out over the other, or will it be a standoff? As it looks at the moment here through the early morning hours, it's a standoff, which means these winds are generally going to stay light and variable. And when we look at the forecasted winds aloft, that's what it's showing. Through the 7 and 9 a.m. hours, winds are generally from the north closer to the ground, southeast winds above the ground level from the southeast coming on through. One thing that we're noticing as the potential as the morning wears on is that southeast wind, that canyon wind above the ground about 1,000 feet, is going to start increasing in speed. Probably around 9 o'clock or so, we could see some teens and 20s up there, 1,000 AGL from the southeast. So that's something to keep an eye on. So this morning, be ready for these opposing vectors to be causing either the winds to be from the southeast or from more of a northerly direction. And the biggest battle is going to be in the lower layers, the first few hundred feet of the atmosphere here through the morning hours. I want to briefly touch on this afternoon. For those of you planning tailgating activities or whatever's going on, we are in a slight risk, a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. In fact, if you look at this map, only western parts of New Mexico has the highest risk of severe weather. It's right on top of us today. And we will have thunderstorms between 3 and 8 p.m. and some of these could be strong. So just keep that in mind here for later this afternoon. Also, a reminder of the radio loop to get current weather conditions. Today's a really good day to be listening in. And we've had some inquiries about how to get the LiDAR. I'm not going to read you a long web address up here. So use the power of the internet and Google ABQ wind profile. And that'll get you to the site where you can get the wind profile information. Use North Fiesta Field. North Fiesta Field is what you want to use for the LiDAR. The LiDAR will be very helpful today to show you that battle that's going on between these two opposing forces. Now it's time for Weather Helper of the Day. We have two. We have Emery Kinzer, and I want to bring up the idea here that I got a note. Emery Kinzer is a 4th-generation balloonist. And her dad, Will and Poppy, and Bill are pilots here in Fiesta. So we've got one coming up the ranks, and we also have Allison McClinton with us to help launch the weather balloon today as well. So, do we have a zebra with a whistle? We are cleared to launch. Thank you. Thank you.
And there's your weather.
Yes, sir.
As we watch the pie ball go out, of course, we've got a whole bunch of other big pie balls up there in the sky.
Yes, we do.
Our
And
dawn patrol.
that actually just mimics exactly what the pie ball reading said about an hour ago that we read, that where they were going to go off the field to the northwest, go high, come back a little southeast. But to Don's point, there's going to be some Mother Naturing going on in about 3 hours here.
Yeah, I love Don's explanation of what's going on. And you might not understand things like troughs, and that's kind of this front, stationary fronts. But the idea that there's two opposing forces here, and so one of them is going to give us winds from one direction, the other is going to give us winds from an opposite direction almost. And so how do they all come together, and how do they play out? So as Don was saying, right now it's going to be a standoff, and we're going to have light and variable winds. At some point this morning, one will win out over the other. And then later this afternoon, where we don't have any flying events this afternoon, so it's a good time for the weather to come through and get out of here so that we can have another mass ascension tomorrow on Flight of the Nations.
Correct. Well, again, that's talking about the micro. Right here, it's nice and calm, and he talked about the canyon wind starting to kick in, and we don't really get affected by that. We will get a little bit of drainage coming down through Santa Fe and the San Diego Cristos into the Rio Grande Valley, but as of right now, it's pretty stable.
And sometimes the winds that do come through the canyons will get all the way out to the west side, and they'll dissipate as they get that far, but sometimes they'll be in effect of that. But what we're looking for is a good morning to fly, but it's not going to be a long morning. You're going to want to get up, you're going to want to get your flight in, you're going to want to get your competition in, and be constantly paying attention to those weather signals, the LiDAR, radar that he talked about, the weather loop. That's a continuous broadcast from our meteorologists about the weather that's happening at Balloon Fiesta Park, not necessarily the Albuquerque Airport or the Double Eagle Airport, which is all the way out on the west side of Albuquerque.
Right. When we were talking this morning about, how schools really get involved in Balloon Fiesta and Balloon Fiesta Live, and how important it is to know your sciences, your mathematics. You just right there, you're looking at him talking about 30 knots, out of the canyon, which is, most people don't know what knots are, but you put it in perspective, it's almost 35 miles an hour, and that's one thing you don't want to be doing in a balloon at ground level. We have several school teachers that are always commenting on both of our feeds, and you talked about Kelly Sasser down in Alabama with her class yesterday, and I guess she's all set up and ready down there today, correct?
All set up there and ready today. And I like to remember one of the very first years of Balloon Fiesta Live. We were down there with our mobile camera and we're talking to people, and it was a glow night. And so we took our camera up and this gal says, "I'm Kelly Sasser from Alabama, and I've been watching with my class all week, and I'm glad to be here." Nice. And so that's how we met Kelly. And so, it's always great to renew. We talked yesterday, the family reunions, always good to renew those. And so hi to Miss Sasser's class in Alabama.
Yes. And any other teachers out there that want to create a lesson plan, maybe, going into the back end of the week here, utilize the things that you hear on here. I mean, like Don talked about, go to ABQ Wind Profiler and pick up the North Fiesta Field and throw it up on that those really cool boards. We only had chalkboards when I was a kid. I don't think we could throw anything up there.
Yeah.
We could draw.
And then
when
I went back into teaching, we went from chalkboards to whiteboards, which just meant you didn't have all the chalk dust.
Right.
So, but now the tools that are out there to be able to have kids engaged in their learning process. It's just incredible.
Matthew Grody again in X-rated Jester. I'm sure Ruth is on the ground today, right? They had a heck of a flight yesterday.
So, all right, let's see who else we've got here. Been watching since day one. Rooftop Studio, when does the 2026 Balloon Fiesta start? So it always starts the first Saturday of October.
Always the first full week, I tell people.
Yeah, and we used to say the first full weekend, the first week, but if you really look at the deal, it comes down to being, if you really want to be specific, it's the very first Saturday, because that's going to kick off the first full weekend, which then leads into the first full week. So that means for 2026, if you look at your calendar, or if you look at the new bumper sticker, next year's Balloon Fiesta is October 3rd through the 11th. So
and if you want to get a preview, you could come in a day early, and on the 2nd, you could go to Balloons Aloft at any one of the schools and kind of see them fly all over the city. That's the unofficial kickoff.
Hey, Kelly says her students enjoyed the shout out. You bet, Kelly. Looking forward to seeing you when you get here.
Hey, get some pictures and send them in to us so we can see what you guys are learning there. Bonjour from Genève in Montreal, Quebec. Thank you for watching.
So the winds could be, they could end up getting down to Vista del Norte. We'll have to kind of see what happens. Vista del Norte, a landing site just south of the balloon field today. They're watching in Sarasota, Florida. Visiting Albuquerque now. They fly home tomorrow morning to Ohio. Watching from your friend's backyard. Okay. Hey, on your flight back to Ohio, be sure and tune us in, get the airplane Wi-Fi. And tune us in, and if we're not live at the time, pick up those archives, and then make sure you share it with the other passengers in the plane. Appreciate that. Thanks for recognizing all the work that we do, Gail Johnson says. Thanks to everybody watching in Wichita, Kansas.
Got some viewers in Livingston, Texas. Good morning to you guys.
And a report of light rain and dense fog on the other side of the mountain. Talking about the Sandia Mountains here. There's a number of towns on the other side. One of them is Edgewood, and there is some weather on the other side of the mountain.
And you wouldn't think, sitting here from our vantage point, that would really be going on, because we're seeing the sun starting to come over, and it's a nice blue morning here in Albuquerque. That's that micro meteorology that we talk about.
I don't even see any clouds out there.
No, yet. I didn't see any clouds when I left this morning.
Of course, fog means it's down at the ground, so you wouldn't see the ground in Edgewood. So yeah. But we are getting the Dawn Patrol just kind of hanging around. I thought maybe they were going to get out of here to the northwest, but then they just went up just a little bit more, and now they're just kind of hanging over the field. Yeah, talking about clear skies, there you are. There's our great moon. It's a super moon?
That's the super moon right there. In fact, when I woke up this morning at 3 a.m., I thought it was like maybe the sun setting. It was so bright and vibrant outside, and you didn't even really need lights.
I know. Always nice when we have that, and it made for some really incredible pictures at Sunday night's Balloon Glow.
It did indeed.
Coming up tomorrow, just looking ahead a little bit, tomorrow is Wednesday, Mass Ascension Day, Flight of the Nations Day, when we'll feature the 12 countries that are here, give them an opportunity to fly on, and we'll have our Mass Ascension just like we do on the weekends. Thursday and Friday are special shape days here at Balloon Fiesta. That means we feature the special shapes. All of our balloons still set up and fly. It's a competition day as well, so we have balloons taking off from the field. We have balloons coming into the field, flying into the field. We've got balloons standing up on the field. Those are the special shapes. It's just an incredibly busy day on Thursday and Friday mornings. Add to Friday morning Kids Day, brought to us by Chick-fil-A. And what we see there is a lot of kids out here. Most of them are off of school, and they get all this free stuff out there as well.
Who doesn't like free stuff?
You bet. And then Thursday and Friday night, it is the Glow-Dio. So we will have the ability to set up all of our special shapes and let them glow. Those are always very popular nights to be able to show up here as well. Saturday and Sunday, we're back to Mass Ascensions in the morning. Saturday night, the final glow, our night magic glow.
Well, yesterday when you went to the field, it was kind of like a little preview for what they're going to do tomorrow as far as the competition or the Mass Ascension. And we had a bunch of shapes up there on the northeast side of the field, and I would say, oh, you know, it doesn't look like they're going to fly. They're just going to be out of the competition area. And the minute I said that, they made a liar out of me, and a couple of them decided to fly.
That's always the way it is.
It is. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut from now on.
I swear sometimes that they say, oh.
There's a great shot. Look at that.
Yeah. Ooh. They just said we were going to do this. Well, let's do something different to fix that. So
that's Rick Jones right there. From Concord, New Hampshire. Hey, we got Nick watching us from Belgium saying good morning to you, Ted and Art.
Good morning. Watching from Sussex, New Brunswick, Canada, balloon pilot. Many young local pilots in their area. That's great to hear, David. So where can you find a list of the pilots? They're on the website at balloonfiesta.com. They're also in the mobile app. On the website, you can use your browser feature to, find on page.
There we go. A little bit of the clouds pushing back over the Sandias right there. Now we're seeing it.
Talk about opposing forces. Look at there. 1, 2, 3, 4 flags just hanging, and then there's one flapping, and then there's a whole row of flags that aren't doing anything again.
And those mountains are really holding that pressure back, as Don talked about.
They are.
They're fighting up there around Santa Fe. If we can get a shot from the north to the south to the north, you can kind of see some of that right at the where the mountains come down and around, right below the.
Oh, and now there's a little more light. Yes. So some of the clouds way out to the north.
You know, ballooning is such a small world. I gotta give a shout out to this guy. I see him several times a year. I'm an avid hockey fan, and I go to the games quite a bit in Pittsburgh. I run into this guy who's a ticket taker. His name is Danny. He actually's flown Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah.
And the only way I met him is I was wearing my Fiesta jacket one day when I was down there, and someone says, "Do you do that?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "That guy over there does it." So I met him. Super nice guy. So shout out to Danny. He's my ticket taker at PPG Paints, and I know that he loved flying in Albuquerque. We've traded some great stories together.
There you go. Let's see. Also, good morning from Glendale, Arizona. Was at the pin trading event on the field Sunday. Met some great folks. Yep, next time you have to plan to stay a little bit longer, man. So, did they announce the theme? Marianne, are you late to the party?
She's late.
She's late to the party. She's been one that's been online with us a lot of years. And so, yes, Marianne, we did. You missed it. So you'll just have to come and find out what it is.
No.
Just kidding. The 2026 theme is the Scenic Route, celebrating the centennial of Route 66. Balloon Fiesta is going to be working with folks to make that happen. In fact, we've already got a centennial Route 66 balloon being flown by the folks at Rainbow Riders for us. So the Scenic Route, we're moving from Painted Horizons to the Scenic Route from 25 to 26.
I like the way they've incorporated the Roadrunner and the southwestern,
yeah, it's a really nice,
scene.
Yep, I think it's a great bumper sticker. Maybe we could throw it up real quick and show folks what that looks like. While we continue to watch Dawn Patrol, we're about 25 minutes away from the national anthem and the start of our Ascension, our balloon of the day, and Ascension, and then competition yet this morning, the second morning of competition.
Well, as slow as it is out there, I hope they can get all these people off the field so we can get a competition in.
No kid. They could definitely be hanging around today. Just checking to see. Pilot's briefing should just be wrapping up, and then once pilot briefing is over is when they'll usually send us the target list or the task list. Yeah, I was hoping we'd be able to get those ahead of time so that we could be talking about them at this point, but that's all right.
Here's another person.
Catch him up.
Another person in Alabama. Ellen, good morning. War Eagle. Window Rock, Arizona. There's Tam Boyd watching us.
Watching from VIP West RV lot, sitting in our fifth wheel, watching the show outside and inside with you guys.
Love it.
When will the shapes inflate today? When it's their turn, Ty. Some of them fly. I don't know that I saw any shapes actually fly the competition yesterday. So most of them are in that first batch, the ones that are kind of the fun flyers, the Fiesta flyers, the ones that will fly, launch, and fly off the field or just stand up.
Look at that shot
on the field
from our drone.
Oh, there you go.
That's just, New Mexico is iconic. I mean, sunrise, balloons,
a lot of dark ground.
A lot of dark ground.
And then you get the concentrated areas of the lights.
There's one of our super cameras right there.
Yeah, super lens cameras. Yeah, there's another one. You can actually see the marker light hanging off the balloon there. Because we're flying before sunrise, we have to have lights on. All aircraft do.
Look, I can actually see a banner on that one as well.
Yeah.
Although we know who these people are this morning.
All right, Charles is still watching from Crystal Beach, Margaritaville. Although he's not in the hot tub yet this morning.
No. Maybe we should have a hot tub put up here on the rooftop studio. We can do the show from the hot tub.
Yeah, that's what we need. We're always looking for new and exciting ways to do things.
I don't know how the electronics would work with that, but hey, could be a shocking show.
Our crack Windfire Productions team could figure it out.
Yes, Gary could, without a doubt.
Heck, now that we mentioned it, if he had control of a hot tub, he'd have it up here in an hour.
That's probably true.
I so love working with those guys. It's kind of like some idea comes into my head and I just kind of randomly toss it out. The next thing you know, it's happening.
Yeah.
So, Gary's on his way with the
They tell us in the truck he's on his way. Great. Good morning, Pierre, South Dakota. Let's see what we have. La Mesa, Texas. And I said that right. La Mesa, Texas. A lot of people say La Mesa. It's La Mesa, Texas. That's right in between Lubbock and Lubbock and Midland, Odessa. I know that route very well.
From Bristol, Texas, 7-month-old Alexander's waiting to see his great uncle Andrew fly with Sky Safari. We'll watch for that too. Maybe we will see Darth today. Maybe we won't. For sure, we'll see Darth on Thursday and Friday. Actually, someone posted to our Facebook page yesterday asking if we could put up a picture of Buttercup. and get it on our webpage. And so I said, well, I'm thinking, well, okay, yeah, I haven't seen Buttercup. So I looked it up. Well, Buttercup is one of a handful of shapes that will only be here on Thursday and Friday. So while we have about 115, I think, special shapes, some of them elect to only participate on shape days Thursday and Friday. Others will participate all 9 days. So Buttercup is one of those that will be along on Thursday and Friday. And so when Buttercup appears, we'll be sure and get a picture of Buttercup and get that picture on the air for you.
Oh, there was a picture of us on the from the drone.
Yeah.
They're over here somewhere. There they are.
There we go. There's us.
Look at the big shadows we can make.
Yeah, there we are. That's our drone, Gary Williams. A new addition for us this year. Gary has spent 2 years working with the FAA to get the proper approvals to fly a drone here. The area for 4 miles around Balloon Fiesta Park is under a TFR, or temporary flight restriction, issued by the FAA, and no aircraft can fly in that 4-mile area without the express permission of Balloon Fiesta and the FAA.
And
So
that's from the surface to 8,000 feet.
Yeah, so the commercial airliners who are up there at 20 or 30, they can go over, but all the way up to 8,000. Absolutely right. And so Gary has spent the last couple of years working to be able to do that. Of course, he's a commercial drone operator anyway. And so to be able to make the video connection work from there, appreciate Gary's work to do that, because the shots we have seen, especially during the glows, I mean all of them, but it really pays off during the glows.
Oh yeah.
Because there's just a wave, and the first Saturday when we didn't launch, we had a static, to be able to see the wave of people.
I mean, we have a great view.
balloons.
We have a great view from down here, but that just brings a whole different dimension to what we're able to see.
Yep. Wyoming, yeah. So someone says, yeah, they want to add hot tubs to the skyboxes.
Oh, that
Now-
may be a good idea.
Yeah, now the skyboxes is a VIP area here at Balloon Fiesta Park. And so your corporation or you for 20 of your friends can rent a VIP spot. And it's a container. We all have seen those containers in container stores and things like that. So it's a container, but there's stairs to be able to get up on the top. It's been fixed on the inside. There's snacks and all that other great stuff. So yeah, if you're looking to bring 20 people or so out, investigate the Fiesta skyboxes for next year. There are actually a lot of opportunities for sponsorships and for ways to take care of your customers or your big family reunion or whatever gathering of folks. So check out our webpage. I think everything's pretty much sold out for this year, and we're busy doing things, making this event work. But check it out and make plans for next year, whether it's the Fiesta Skybox, whether it's a group tour, whether you want to hit the Chasers Club or the Gondola Club, maybe do some camping at Camp 505 or escalate it to glamping. We've got a setup of that, and lots of ways that you can get involved in Balloon Fiesta.
You can even sponsor a balloon.
You could. Your banner could be on the balloon. And we would be saying, that's your company name here, Balloon.
Absolutely.
So we're starting to see the Rainbow Riders, which is our ride concession balloons in plate, and also the balloon of the day. And I believe today is Coke Day. That looks like the Coca-Cola balloon.
Indeed.
Yep, balloon of the day, Coca-Cola.
Great shot from our west to east cam, looking at the Sandia Mountains, and the Dawn Patrol still kind of hanging out. But again, they're still basically hanging out based on the weather reports that we've had from early this morning.
So Mark says he thinks he's going to plan a big road trip for next year, taking the Fiesta and drive Route 66 as well. I think that's the whole game plan, Mark. So glad you've figured out the game plan, that you ought to come to Balloon Fiesta and celebrate Route 66 at the same time. And Elizabeth, the bumper stickers are now available. Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm assuming that's looking from the north towards the east, towards the Sandias, and you get a little bit of that
Definitely, yeah.
activity.
Okay.
That's the fighting Don was talking about.
Yeah, the two different systems. Yeah, and now that we're getting a little more light, we can see a lot more of the cloud bank up to the north. Yeah, there it is. There's the mountains.
Yeah, that's kind of sneaking around through the canyon and then coming up into the Sandia Mountains.
Yep, my mic was muted. And apparently my internet's being stupid. For fuck's sake.
California.
That's not where the fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right around and say what that means is da-da-da-da-da-da. He lays it out just great.
Absolutely. Well, buenos dias from Poolville, Texas.
A couple that have already laid it out on farther rows, but then you and I don't. When I build the schedule, it's kind of like, and I count up who's doing what, how number of schedules, and of course it says Art 14, Ted 14. Everybody else has got, you know, 7, 8, 9. So, no, you don't get a day off.
Nor would I want one.
Nor
would I want one.
Great. I'm gonna give you the afternoon off.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
and you had yesterday
I'm still
afternoon
keeping
off,
the flag.
but don't get used to it, because
We'll
come
turn it
Thursday,
yellow.
it's 2 days.
Yes.
That's up to the pilot. They want to fly.
Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. It's not Phil, but from Punxsutawney. They're checking in.
Better go wake Phil up.
They did.
Yeah, to wake them up, to fill them up. Too early for that shit.
Pat loves the 2026 bumper sticker. Awesome, Pat. We do too. Minneapolis, Minnesota checking in.
And ladies and gentlemen, here is our national anthem performed this morning by Susan Tipton.
So proudly we hailed as the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Susan Tipton with the national anthem, so it's balloon on.
Burners on, inflators on, the full speed ahead.
There we go. I don't know about that speed portion. I just looked at the tri-ball rig weekend, so it's not going to be that speedy yet, but it'll be a lot of fun out there.
Full speed could still be 2 miles an hour.
I got a passenger
Full
with me
speed for a
to
balloon.
help with
That's
some of
it.
the fucking weight.
All rise.
All right, so I'm at easily 20 miles per hour.
Steve Mitchell has the Coca-Cola balloon in the air on Coca-Cola Day
Easily
here
20
at the
miles per
Albuquerque
hour.
International Balloon Fiesta, the Exxon Mobil
This is
Albuquerque
crazy.
International Balloon Fiesta.
It's fucking crazy, Joe.
And that is the signal for all the balloons in the first wave and in the first row, which is also the middle row, to be able to stand
My
up,
bad,
get a
man.
launch
Sounds like a
director,
lot of
and
them.
get airborne. And look
Yeah,
who's
my
following
bad.
him
Already
up.
at
Here
30
we
miles
go,
an hour,
Lobo.
Joe.
University of
It's
New
a bad
Mexico
idea.
Lobo balloon.
Cherry on top.
It's a bad fucking idea, dog.
So we are underway. A balloon ascension. I always struggle with what to call on the flight this morning because we call them mass ascension. We put all 500 balloons up mass ascension. We're only going to put 300 up from the field.
I always refer to it as the mini mass.
You can see the
ascension.
winds
Again,
in the-
you know, it's
in the
mini
lake,
to us,
bro. Look
but
at that.
huge to others. Look at that. Speaking
Yeah.
of huge,
There you go.
large basket. That's about the size of an old Volkswagen. To be honest with you, to put it in perspective.
Yeah, we're definitely
It's
the
being
insane
lifted into
balloon
the air.
pilot.
VW buses.
You know,
Yeah.
back in the day, they had those pictures of people trying to cram themselves into
How many
Definitely.
can I get in a bus?
Crazy.
We get about 14, 15 people in there.
Beautiful world, Al Nels. Sid Cutter, when he got started with all of this, formed a company called World Balloon Corporation and used the World Balloon as his logo, and he built many, many of those. For our 50th, 3 years ago, Jewel Cutter had the beautiful World Balloon built. And when you get a chance to see that up close and personal, you'll see lots of little flags and stars on the world representing places that were special to Jewel and Sid.
Whether they lived or flew or had events.
Or they have a great story to go along
Oh,
with
yes,
that.
absolutely. There are tons of
After yesterday's
the
show and
winds are
flight,
calm down here
got
in
to
the
spend
water.
a good half hour or so came sat with us and kind of had our little snack after the show. Always great to catch up with her and just what a great lady. Of course, Sid was a great guy too. We were swapping Sid stories last night.
Well, I think one of
Man,
my
we
most
hit
favorite
the-
stories that I have is that when my youngest son Tyler
It's just a small
was
little
probably
tree.
5 or 6 years
They do
old,
no
Sid
damage.
invited
That's
us into
just
the
blasting
Chase
that.
Commander to have a soda,
Yeah.
and he was in there with the dogs, and I said, "Hey, who's this guy?" And he just looked at him and said, "That's Sid." My kid, you know, he's 5, 6 years old, just thought Sid was just Sid. And you know, he goes, "You're right, son. You're right." It was just.
I mean, the
such
winds are at like 10 miles an
surreal.
hour down there. That's as close as you're going to get today.
Oh no, Champagne Sunrise had to leave early and has gone back to the Sorry you had to leave early.
Now, first we had the New Mexico balloon. Now we have the New Mexico State balloon. And I believe this year in the football series, New Mexico beat New Mexico State. So I think they have points, and they call it the Rio Grande rivalry. So they'll do that in basketball and all sorts of sports. There's a happy camper pilot.
Heidi from Rio Rancho is watching from Japan this morning or afternoon on her side of the world. Actually,
Probably almost
Japan.
tomorrow. Is that right?
Japan's the other way, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's yeah.
Maybe she can tell us.
Whether
I'm
it's
sure she will. It's hard enough to rank.
I mean,
these
actually, the
650
winds
balloons.
have kind of chilled out, bro.
Which is why I
I'm
started
going to shut up.
advertising
I'm not going to speak too soon.
the
I'm actually just chilling.
New Mexico time, the mountain time of 6 a.m., 6 p.m. and I started putting the
Oh, there we go.
0000 or the 1200 UTC time. I figure you can, because in the U.S. it's always like this time Eastern or this time Central. They never talk about the mountain time, but we can all pretty much relate to UTC, Zulu, Greenwich Mean Time. So that's why we always kind of throw those times out there for you as well, for those of you in different time zones.
I was looking at the
Heidi
Windy
says
app
it's 10 p.m.
last
Okay.
night,
Thank you, Heidi.
and literally
So,
within
pilot,
miles of
to
each
give you
other, you got
instructions to,
winds that are
you know,
15,
operate the fan
16 miles per
circulation.
hour. Then you
But
got
prior to that, they were all
3
standing
miles
around
north,
and
and they're 3 miles
taking
per
a
hour.
look
It's
at
like
the
it's
weather,
crazy.
seeing, conditions
Yeah,
were.
that's actually-
a lot
fuck,
of
man,
pilots
I'm
will do
actually
that.
cruising,
Some
bro.
will decide when they look around, especially some local
it's
ones that
chilling
fly
up
here
here.
quite a bit. Today may not be that day that they want to fly, but it appears that this pilot has made his decision and he's getting ready to prep his crew to this mass ascension. before
Actually,
we
it's
start
not a
day
bad
2
idea. I'm glad we
of
took the risk.
competition at the ExxonMobil Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.
Mass Ascensions are always Saturday, Sunday, and the midweek Mass Ascension on Wednesday. But as Ted likes to call the mini Mass Ascension, or as is every other day of the week. So every day.
It's like a mass ascension sandwich, right?
Yeah.
This will honestly probably be our best
A triple decker.
chance to
Yeah,
fly
you got
today,
red
Joe.
on
That's
either
why I was
end,
like,
and
fuck
in
it,
the
I'll
middle,
take a risk.
There's
And look at me
the
fucking up
Pearl
again.
Buzzard.
Hold on. So,
Pearl's been flying for
Right over the top of.
I've been having to put my unlimited fuel
Looks like they were close.
on. Oh, I got the whole
Pinnacle
damn
Propane,
background
the
noise
official
going on and
provider
everything.
of
I'm tripping.
propane
So,
for our
with the truck, you gotta
balloons
have
here again
unlimited
this
fuel
year.
because that bitch will go out real
Earl's
quick,
family
bro.
is gonna
Like,
be
it
a
sucks.
third generation ballooning family. He started
yeah.
with his uncle.
I just realized I was
and now his
still at
youngest son,
95%
Brian,
fuel. Like, why the fuck am my
is
fuel ain't going
studying to
down?
get his pilot certificate, and I've been
I had a
able to
mini hot air balloon glow last
instruction with
night.
him, and he's
It was
very,
actually
very
pretty
close,
dope.
so
They had a dude in the
very
airplane,
cool
and
that they
it was pretty dope.
Lawrence low with the flow.
What did one of the two do?
I don't know. I think that was him who just walked up in the camera there to make sure that they were holding the lines open, because that's the job on that end of the balloon, to hold it open, the blow the air inside, and then of course once you get some air in, then it almost pulls itself open.
And being a great ambassador for balloon, look at what he's letting us do. He's letting us go inside the balloon with our camera during the cold inflation. A lot of times pilots will walk in and make sure their riggings are okay, their turning vents are okay. They may have a knot, they may not have a knot.
He said they may not have a knot.
Nope. A lot of people don't want you walking on the inside of the balloon. In fact, a lot of times when I did it, it was like, I'm going to take my shoes off. Because you never know, it's not so much about necessarily what's on your shoes, but on the other side.
The envelope, correct. There's the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center.
Yeah, you don't want to rip no fucking
operated by
balloon,
Rainbow
man.
Riders here locally in Albuquerque.
Sundance Balloons is one of those that operates in Canada, a ride business up there. They come down and help us out and help Rainbow Riders
Dude, the
out.
winds are actually pretty
Provide
dope. All right, cool.
350 balloon rides a day
Yeah.
out of Balloon
We're
Fiesta.
gonna make this
Field.
a green flag.
That particular one right there is Philippe Waters, and yeah, he's been flying commercially for 8 years. See how this is panning out here, Art. We're getting very similar to Sunday. Earl took off and kind of went west. He went high, and now he's coming back east. And all these ride balloons are just kind of hanging.
Yep. Yeah, very slight drift to the west, right at the deck. You don't have to be but 100 feet up, and you kind of stop.
I don't think I have to worry about the coast at the moment.
Even that drift is probably too strong a
Hey, look.
word that you move
Kids
off
at
to the
school are
east.
about to get a surprise. They're testing this week. Oh well, trying to disturb them with a burner in a balloon.
Oh, we're on.
Well, yeah.
Good morning,
Someone
Teresa.
asking about the Stork balloon out of commission. Actually, they rebuilt the Stork balloon a few years ago. Dr. Steve Comodino, who on Mark does, and we usually see the Stork balloon on Thursday and Friday.
Study, study, study. School is a scam, though. It's all freaking show.
The rest of the week, Mark tends to fly his never forget balloon.
Oh, they got Foursquare down there.
I actually got to fly the original Stork balloon as a student pilot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back in 1989. And yes, Sid's World Balloon Corporation that I was talking about, rides and put the Balloon Fiesta on, became the World Balloon Company when they started adding flight training. And then when Sid passed on and they got, actually before he even got to that point, he sold the company off and the flight school went one way and World Balloon Ride Operations went another way.
Yeah.
So the company has split
Ooh,
into
they got a lot of water
multiple
over
companies
here.
owned by different people these days.
It looks like Tristan McLean is
Are we
getting
gonna
ready
make
to
it out on
He's
there?
got his
lock eyes with
passengers
his zebra, and he'll.
Well, I just saw the
Everybody
zebra.
got their flight tracker
coming this
on.
way.
I don't think we're gonna make it over
She
here.
has her kind of
We're headed straight for the damn lake. I made a rhyme.
And he's ready to go, and he's very buoyant. So
Yep.
his crew,
Look at this dude.
he's got a great crew. Look at all those guys.
They're
Some
going
great
straight for the
pictures-
lake,
Great
dude.
pictures from Tristan's mom.
Great
yesterday
splash and dash.
that we'll get on the air at some point.
There's Tristan's dad right there wandering right in front of the camera.
And there he goes. The tip of the hat to the crowd. See if he remembers. They're waving at us.
All right. We got more of a westerly wind now suddenly, so the splash and dash is probably out of the question.
Looking all around.
Well, he's pulling one of those turning vents. He was pulling the black one, so he's turning to the left.
And that stick coming out from the top of the uprights there, he's going to have a camera.
Oh, of course he will.
Yeah.
All right, wind's starting to pick up a little bit now.
Oh, there's a great shot right there of the ExxonMobil Enchanted Horizons balloon
with the moon
just getting ready to set. It messes with your brain when you think about sunset, moonset, right?
Yeah.
There's Arabelle.
Sunset, but then we had moon,
the sunset.
Yeah. So there's your indicator. It's going to be a good day.
Yep.
When Arabelle's in play.
And we have to remember all these 650 balloons.
And what time is it where?
Yes. Here's Al Mills spinning the wheel.
Jules says, thanks for streaming this. She has never seen this event. Absolutely thrilled that you have found us.
Here we go. This is what we were talking about before.
Oh, all the bumpers.
87. That's the year I graduated high school.
Yeah. Let's see. I was in my third job by 87.
That's how I feel some days.
Yeah. So Jewel was asking, can we explain the competition? Jewel, as soon as we know what the actual task is, competition in general means go find a launch site somewhere and then fly to that target when you're on the field. That's competition in general, but then there are very specific pieces of competition that you want to go ahead and drop the marker on a particular target or a certain area. Once you know what the actual task is, in fact, I'm just checking here. Henry Rosenbaum, our balloon meister, has just sent it to me. Let me call it up. What are we doing today? We are doing task 3 is a hesitation waltz. That means there's going to be, in the case of today, 3 targets out on the field, and you can pick and throw a marker on any one of those 3. That's task 3 because we did 2 yesterday. Task 4 is a maximum double drop, and so we're going to set up 2 sets of 2 triangles, and with an X between each of the sets. The X is the measuring point, and we're going to measure baggies inside the triangles, and the farthest away is going to win. So they're going to go to the far tips of the triangle. So you you want to hit that very first, fly over the net, and then drop it on the tip.
I got a whole south wind.
You don't want to be on the middle where it's fat next to the X's.
Right.
You want to be on the tips and the ends.
Right. And there's 2 lines of those so that you can come down left or right, but you have to hit the markers in the triangle to match. So on the map, we have them red and blue. They're just going to be the same. But, yep. So, and as of right now, they are planning on closing the target at 9 o'clock.
And that was because of the weather that Dawn
that we're
was
expecting to come through.
Yeah.
All right. So competition. Any marker except orange or red, and orange. Okay. Orange markers on the maximum double drops. Okay.
Oh, I guess they're watching us on the Odyssey cruise ship right now. From the Philippines, did you say? there's one more thing. Now we got.
Absolutely. Someone's actually been on Chase Cruise for the past 23 years. It's incredible the number of people that are connected with ballooning in some way, and even more so, schedule their vacations for this week. Yeah, well, you too. Yeah.
I have for many years.
I was trying to incorporate my work into this so that I could get paid to come out.
Worked pretty good for you.
It did for a while.
Yeah.
It did for a while. There was a couple of jobs that I could make down here.
Yeah, growing up, the kids were like, okay, we could do Disneyland in the summertime and just Fiesta in the wintertime. Good morning, from Dundee, Florida. Again, I'm kind of a sports nut. That's the spring training city of the Toronto Blue Jays. Tonight. On that standpoint, so.
Someone is asking about the segment about those Fiesta loss. We did lose our original field reporter, Ruth Lind.
We haven't lost Diane yet.
We haven't lost Diane yet.
Sorry,
Diane.
Diane.
She's just got a day off. Ruth Lind, longtime reporter for us. We did lose her a month ago, and we did air a memorial segment about her on Sunday morning. So if you went back to this past Sunday, you could watch that video back. It's about 50 minutes into the show. So thanks for asking.
And now I'm going back the other way.
And again, we're this awkward box, I guess is what I'll call it, is beginning to set up again. Because now I know there's a good shot. Where's my camera? In my pocket. We just had a commercial airliner, and you may review those people.
Well, at least the pilot did.
Well,
because he was.
Into the side,
he's going to
though.
turn. He's going to turn. They're going to get the view. But at the moment, those in the back seats had to, they probably weren't going to be able to look up, down.
Dude, the winds actually fucking are pretty chill right now. Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you. But we know it might not happen tonight. No, for sure tomorrow it's going to be raining.
Look right here.
And I think Thursday we're going to be in Maine. So we're going to be in New Hampshire for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which Friday should be good, but Saturday and Sunday is supposed to rain as well. So we'll just wait year by year, day by day, guys. We got spoiled for having like 3 weeks of perfect weather to fly.
On the safety team.
We got to take the good, the bad.
Hey, you have all of my support in giving him the hardest time on this. So we're now live the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. I am Ted Mays.
I'm Mark Jr. Thank you for being with us. By the way, now would be a great time to I checked it out the other day, and so we're just about 100 people shy. So I need 100 of you. In fact, there are already 300 on YouTube. We want to kick it over 10,000. Thanks for doing that. I've got 300 and some.
We're swinging like a pendulum.
We're slacking off a little bit. We're only at 280, so let's get on there, please.
Of course, we've been in the 15,000, 16,000 range on our previous shows, but we understand it's a work day for many people. So I have lots of pictures of you sneaking the watching of Balloon Fiesta Live while you're working. Appreciate that.
Definitely over in industrial
and I won't tell your boss.
Come on. We got Susie here in Hurricane, Utah, which is right near Zion National Park. So.
Jerry Graff and his balloon lofty on the screen. As that turns, we'll see the compass rose on the side. Another shot of the University of New Mexico.
Right, we got power towers on the right.
And Ryan down the field, saw Vampirilla getting ready to inflate. He is now in the air. Right there. What a face. Only a mother could love.
Damn.
Exactly.
Why y'all low-key dissing people?
So if you have just joined us, mini mass ascension, if you will.
Baseball field.
We're going to launch about 300 balloons out of the field. And then the other 250 balloons have already left the field
random
to go
ass
find a launch
baseball
site
field.
to attempt to fly back into the field with competition.
There's a little cloud hopper, one of several that are here this year.
Oh yeah, another baseball field over here. And another baseball field. And there's a whole bunch of fields. Just like, what the fuck?
That right there is Mr. J. Bird Mason. He's got to be in the 50th Balloon Fiesta. He's been around a long time. He actually worked for Sid Cutter at the World Balloon back in the day. Yeah, he did.
All right, so we're going to be crossing these power
his
towers.
wife, Regina, worked for me.
Yeah. When I was first getting started in ballooning, Jay was flying. Always good to see him.
His balloon is
We have you streaming live, but we have to be muted at our work on 6 TVs. That's where you need the AirPods, you know? Yeah, they'll think you're on a telephone call.
There's Jay Bird. And we have Bill Lee in Truly, New Mexico with the Dos Equis balloon. The Wicked balloon's right behind it over there on the right-hand side. And Bob Romanowski.
All right, there's more power
Arizona
towers
Superstar.
beyond these coming up.
And
Heads
Chain
up,
Gang.
Joe.
I can't because I'm at the same time now.
Yeah.
And then you have a cell tower
Used to be the rights.
way up
Tom
here.
Wright, I think.
All right, you ever got to use extra caution, Joe? Because there's a
I
lot
think
of
it's
power towers around.
Kind of like the McConnells. They all have the same name. And they abbreviated in the, separated out, differentiated.
Right here, but this time I'm a pig.
Yeah. They separated out, differentiated by how they spelled it.
And
Hey, you want a special shirt?
it's for sale.
It's for sale.
Absolutely.
It's for sale. So, get a couple of hot balloons. You can tell those because there's no basket.
Right.
Just kind of sitting in a little web chair with the burner on the back. Reach over your head for the burner.
We saw at the end of the competition day yesterday, Michael Glenn riding in on a chariot. He was late to the party, but he made it to the
He
field.
made it.
He had
This
a nice
is
big
cool
runway out
here.
here, and lots of people.
And in the background,
It's the
there's
University
that,
of Massachusetts
we
something.
saw, that's the one we're inside a few minutes
Not the
ago.
actual, UMass, but
His lovely wife, Kira.
Take a second, look over there.
No.
We were ready for our close-up.
With all the stickers over all the years, the bumper stickers, but they fade after a few. Well, that just shows you how coming out to Fiesta and how what's the best way to put it? Experience you may have in ballooning.
We've got another pieball reading. Again, that's, if you were with us earlier, you heard Don Day, our chief meteorologist here, talk about what the weather is and that we needed to watch it closely today. There are two weather systems that are competing, and one would send the wind one way, the other would send it the other way, which means they're going to cancel each other out right now. But we're watching to see if all of a sudden one were to start to win that battle. Speeds all still straight, directions, nothing horrible in there.
Good wind places you need.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun sometimes when it's really light and variable. But with this many balloons, you want to have at least something in the 3 to 5 to 6s to get you kind of away from your best friends. Not that you don't like them.
Because we want them to clear the field. We need them to go high and get a direction away. That way we can keep getting balloons off the ground. If you hang at 100 feet off the field, then you're blocking the airspace. There we're looking into balloons through one of our new Balloon Fiesta Live flags. There's the 2 preventive pest control balloons. The special shape Itsy Bitsy just going off the screen, and the new one Arachnid. Brian Victor flies the Itsy Bitsy, and Don Boyer is flying Arachnid.
There's Tiger with the
with Wicked.
Doug Geese.
More power towers kind of hiding in here before the golf course.
Again, normally we launch
And
from
the
the
red,
south because the winds are coming north to
roof
south.
buildings over here.
But now with that direction going to the west, right on the field, that's we got to go to the west side of the field.
We got a lot of power towers up here. Holy
so
shit.
they walked Doug and Hamlin kind of around a
All right,
couple
I'm
of
gonna jump up
balloons
for a
to get
second,
to an
see what
opening.
Let's see what happens, gang.
These are
Here's Tony Polito and the Rio Grande Syndrome Network balloon getting ready to launch. Speaking of a plane that flew over the it's already over Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Good morning,
They
Baltimore.
got a tent on the
Another
golf
one
course.
watching from Baltimore.
Nice.
No, I don't know. That could be a hut.
Greg Ashton just posted. He says Monty the Black Sheep is on his way.
All right.
All right, Greg. Safe travels. We have Alexander from Brazil watching.
I just know there's a lot of trees
so
ahead of us.
Lobitos.
How much time did we do? And I just said Brian Victor's flying Itsy Bitsy the shape, and Don is flying the other one. So now I hear from Don's grandson that they've switched today.
Oh, of course they did.
Thanks, Cameron. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
cruising
Tim
as
Baggett, where the heck are you, man? I'm missing you. Thanks for checking in, Tim.
Yeah, just don't go above 1,000 feet and you should be good. Got all these damn power lines up here, man.
How do you land hoppers? To know.
Can't land in
Just
this field if I wanted to.
but just the same way, you let the air out, you come down, you settle it all off. Most of the time, you'll turn around backwards so that you kind of lay down on that tank.
And all those hoppers do have turning vents which allow you to do so.
If it's really calm, you just come down and, you kind of stretch your feet out in front, put your bottom on the ground.
Yep.
So it's depending on what kind of wind conditions you have as you get to your landing spot.
See the sun just starting to crest the mountain, and some of the balloons that are up to the look at that spectacular view from our vantage point. You can't really see it yet on the camera. There's Arabelle. Again, it's a great day in Albuquerque.
When Arabelle flies, yes.
Another power tower.
His office and obviously here. He's always done a lot of great work with us with Balloon Fiesta, balloon maps, etc.
You also got to watch out for these,
Important
Joe.
meetings with Europe.
Like these little
Well, I'm
man,
glad
these
you're
things
still
are
checking in,
huge.
Tim. Miss seeing you.
There's 3 where I'm from, and they're all like in that triangle kind of shape with, like, placement. But man.
Fort Lauderdale's in the house. Elephant Butte, New Mexico's in the house.
Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Colorado.
Elk Rapids, Michigan. Christopher, good morning. Starts his day off every day this time of year with Balloon Fiesta Live. And I love this one. Jen, another one from High River, Alberta, Canada, and she ends it with an A and a Canadian flag. So good morning, A. I have a lot of really great friends up in Ontario.
Look at this picture. That was a
yeah.
great shot. So cute.
Looks like she's from our vantage point from the rooftop studio. We have a little trampoline over the tops of balloons.
Yeah. Remember the first Arabelle actually had a crescent moon that would hang underneath the basket.
Cow jumping over the moon.
That's exactly.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't Arabelle Canadian? Or
The
one time
pilot
was?
is.
The pilot.
The
okay.
pilot is. Dale Ritchie.
I don't think the balloon itself is
And New
Canadian.
Mexico True now standing up. the farmer's market balloon or farmer's insurance balloon. Ron Baca, cruise control, he calls that.
And Frankie Martinez.
Enjoy your flight today, bro, because we might not be having another flight for at least till Friday or
That's
Thursday.
one of those things you know the balloon well enough.
We're going to try this
We
afternoon,
can make
but
it out.
they don't look too good with the winds. They're looking gusty, gusty, gusty.
The Leon, Mexico.
Like mini hurricane type shit. Like, what the fuck y'all got going on up here?
Go down there. Side of the screen.
Now the sun's really starting to hit them.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing. We can kind of watch it come from across the west as it kind of grows, and then it's like all of a sudden it jumps to include the entire field. And now's when the pictures get really good.
Yes, they do.
More attention to what's happening to the weather, because now that the sun is heating the ground, that was going to help mix that air, the warm and the cold air, mix a little bit more.
It really represents their family and in ballooning.
So we're seeing the animal side.
Yeah, the animal side depicts their entire family. So the mama bear that's on there is the wife and the crew chief. The panda is Amanda, their oldest daughter. The lion of the family is Morgan, Kevin, their granddaughter, their other daughter, and the eagle is Mark flying overhead. That's really
Get up, dude. God dang, man. Look.
kind of partial to that where I'm from.
Yeah. One of about 7 or 8 new special shapes.
Almost
just
became
from
tree bark.
Brazil.
Raise the Jolly Roger.
Oh, dude, man, that sucks, man. I hope you feel better, bro. Shit. Yeah,
It's
land
actually
if you
getting
need
warm
to,
up
do what you
here
gotta
on
do,
the,
bro. And then
States.
just
I
keep me,
didn't don my jacket today.
I'll check on you later on, man.
I think I'm about ready to shed.
Another great shot of Arabelle.
Feel better, bro. Feel better.
I love how the eyes. They're just kind of looking right. Looks like she's just looking, giving us a side eye, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right down into the
Great.
camera.
You know, Mark also was bringing to the special shapes. He purchased that VW bug, the bus. That'll be interesting and fun to see. It seems like a really fun balloon.
And we talked about the Globitos.
This guy
event
really
last
wearing
night.
red pants.
Globitos
All
glow
right, bro.
in the village,
I'm not
and we
hating
talked
you,
about
man.
the
You
theme,
imagine.
the scenic route for 2026. All to celebrate the potential of Route 66. And there is the balloon that's going to help us do it. With the big white and the green Zia on the side. If you could read the other, it talks about Route 66 and the Centennial.
Now, the question is, a year from now, when that balloon is flying in the scenic route,
Yeah.
is that going to be white on the equator, or is it going to be enchanted? So a lot of balloons around the New Mexico ALBUQUERQUE area say when they buy a new balloon and they go out and they fly it in the Mesa, it's not dirt on there. That's just total enchantment.
Being in the desert, we have a lot of wide open spaces in the desert. The amount of vegetation is out there. It might be tumbleweeds or sagebrush or choyas or other cactus, etc. So most of the time when we fly balloons around Albuquerque, we take off and land in the dirt.
Yes.
So that light, especially the white, gets a whole lot of enchantment on it.
Now, I'm trying to see who's flying today.
Well, we're going to see and find out. Silver lining, Fred or Lachelle.
And it's definitely Lachelle.
That's
She's
gotta
there
be
on the
Lachelle.
left.
Yeah,
That's
on the
not
left.
Fred in there.
Nope.
Hallelujah, she actually got out the field this year. Giving her a hard time. Lifelong friend.
Jonathan Wolf and his fractal balloon. Infinitude.
And look, the cow is stomping on the
Infinite
hammerhead.
gratitude.
Below?
Looks like in the very lower left, almost kind of
It
behind
looks like
that
a
other
fire
pole, with
station
even
right
a
there.
better-
The fire
we can
truck
see
right
it's still
there.
in
You
the
got the
lower
fire
left,
chief
but
truck.
there's flash
That's exactly what that is.
duck.
Yep, that's a whole fire station.
It was a French
At
duck,
least
it
right
was
there
a
in this
big
part.
one.
I'm all about fire stations.
Kind of
Just
use
do
that
fire
in
truck.
my pilot post-flight
Stadium.
ceremony. They're all a little bit different. We'll talk about it later on the week, and we actually end our show with the balloonist prayer. So
They got some areas up ahead of
hopefully
you,
on the
Joe,
week
that
we
look
can
good to
maybe
land.
do a little segment on how these balloons this.
Might take you a second to get there.
Flight with a
Stay on
brand
course.
new passenger.
We've got spiders. I'm not so sure about that. And then you've got the I love the spiders. You got both sides of the argument on preventive pest control spiders. Yeah, and then someone says they do a lot of enchanted hiking. So they understand exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
It was basically dirt, and then we had a little bit, not even half,
Yeah,
about a
of
third
course,
of the
yeah,
grass. And all the fields before this one have all been dirt. So,
well, again, you know, using that that great shot that Gary gets, that's there's an iconic grab out there, and that's back at Sims Field, and it was all dirt.
Four drones.
Speaking of another challenge that we had,
The Ricky Bobby balloon.
the Ricky Bobby balloon, it was owned by Worcester.
It still is. Mike Voorhees balloon, Iconic, actually did not fail its annual inspection. Because they're aircraft, they have to be $100 flight or every hour, or every year first. Mike's balloon didn't pass annuals, so he got in contact with Wade Wadsworth and said, "Hey, can I fly Ricky Bobby?"
I really need a balloon for Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah, so he has leased the balloon from Will Wadsworth. He's flying one of his other balloons here this year. So thanks for the cooperation there. And actually, that happens a lot on these come from Brazil. A lot of times they're flying a basket that lives here in Albuquerque year-round.
I mean, Peter George, he'll reach out and say, "Hey, I have friends that are coming, and we need tanks, and we need to bottom this." And you know, this community, this family is very amenable, and they're here to help everybody, especially at the largest event in the world. I think
that'd be a good spot right here.
Steve. I can't see Tall Steve from where we're at.
Which is why we have 10 cameras to be able to bring
go.
you everything. You can see it all here on Balloon.
Chris Martinez, that's Rice Smith and Smokey Bear down there. And now we can confirm that that's Frankie Martinez, the Miracle Balloon down there. I can definitely see him. And again, Mike Voorhees going out of the side there in Ricky Bobby.
And Mike was really good about letting me know, hey, my balloon.
It was very
did pass.
helpful, yes.
Yeah, my balloon did pass. I'm gonna get Ricky Bobby from Will, so that was really nice. Hey, putting one of the alien.
Yeah, he was up yesterday.
Was he up yesterday?
Yeah,
I missed him.
Kind of a little bit. Well, you were down on the field.
I was on the field and I was all the way.
He was one of the ones that did not make a light. The ones on the northeast side of the field.
Which is where we'll set all on Thursday and Friday. Many of them plan to do a static display for us.
There's Splash.
Yeah, great shot of Splash. And that hat, I'm guessing,
Zorro.
is the Zorro, Z-Boy, but it's really Zorro.
There's Anthony Polito flying the Rio Grande Down Syndrome Network
But
balloon.
on my map it says no fucking tree.
Rural balloon. There's a pretty photographs that you guys set up. Actually flying one of the, I think.
Hold on.
Drone shot right there.
Yeehaw, baby.
That's what it feels like. If you're up there flying.
Yeah.
Yo.
Oh, I see.
Where
That
the hell
was
did you go?
the other end. It's our other drone.
Yeah, look at that shot.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then a photo bomb.
Yes,
Rod.
He eclipsed the cabin.
Dude runs too slow.
Not for long though.
No.
I can run faster than this. Run, slow, white boy.
You get to know the pilots and talk to them.
I'm trying, Joe. I'm trying. This dude's slowing down.
Well, we provide great coverage here. We still encourage you to come
Nice.
on out to Balloon
Nice.
Fiesta
Fuck
and
yeah,
get
dude.
the full experience.
Look at the
of
trees.
being
Holy
up
shit,
close,
look at that.
Feeling that burner
What in
heat
the
and pressure, that kind
fuckery
of
of
stuff. You can
Microsoft
always go
and
back
simulation
and
of what the
watch
hell's
show.
going on?
Or stream it while
Look
you're
at
out here on the
bullshit.
field.
Microsoft, do better. All right, Joe, look, man,
Castriona
he's not
is
feeling good.
here on the far end of the field,
Drink some echinacea tea.
as is the
Echinacea
hammerhead
tea
shark.
is like
And Frankie's
$5
taking
at
Brack's
Walmart.
balloon off and spinning it
Do
from
it,
our
trust
view,
me, whatever it
trying
is,
to get
it
in
works,
the,
okay?
in the shot.
you feel better. I'll check on you later.
Figure out who that balloon is.
And yeah,
Which one is that?
The gray
get
one?
better,
Oh,
dude.
yeah. The multiple shades of gray.
All right, well, this is Bayou Man Gaming. We were able to squeeze in a
56 is the band.
little small flight this morning. Me and Joe, we almost didn't make it to make it fly, but this evening we'll be back. Unsure if we're going to be flying because the winds are supposed to be freaking horrendous, and tomorrow it's supposed to rain. So, what can you do with Mother Nature? You just take the good with the bad. You know, we've had several weeks of great weather, so I can't complain. I try not to. Does nothing but tank the soul and make you more grumpy. Yeah. So, anyway, this is your boy Bayou Man Gaming. Hope y'all have an awesome kick-ass Tuesday. And remember that you're awesome. And if someone says, nah, you're like, uh-huh. And if you disagree again, just flick them on the forehead. I was like, no. Y'all have a good day. I'll see y'all later on the season.